Hello, little dreamers. Tonight I have a magical story just for you to help you drift off into a peaceful sleep. It's a classic tale of adventure, bravery, and a sweet candy house deep in the woods. This story is called Hansel and Gretel. I hope it helps you relax and brings you wonderful dreams. Sleep well, and may tomorrow be filled with joy and new adventures. Now let's begin our story. Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, in a small cottage at the edge of a deep, dark forest, there lived a poor woodcutter and his two children, Hansel and Gretel. Times were tough, and there was often not enough food to eat. One evening, as Hansel and Gretel lay in bed, they overheard their stepmother whispering to their father. "We don't have enough food to feed all of us," she said. "Tomorrow we must take the children into the forest and leave them there." Hansel and Gretel were frightened, but Hansel had an idea. He slipped out of bed and gathered small white stones from outside, putting them in his pocket. The next morning, their father and stepmother took them deep into the forest. As they walked, Hansel secretly dropped the white stones along the path. When their parents left them alone, Hansel reassured Gretel. "Don't worry," he said. "I've left a trail of stones. We can follow them home." And so they did. The stones gleamed in the moonlight, guiding them back to their cottage. But when they returned, their stepmother was angry, and soon after, she and their father took them into the forest again. This time, Hansel had no chance to gather stones, so he dropped breadcrumbs along the way. But when they tried to follow the breadcrumbs home, they discovered that the birds had eaten every last crumb. Lost and alone, Hansel and Gretel wandered deeper into the forest. They walked for hours until they came upon something amazing, a house made entirely of candy and sweets. Hungry and tired, they couldn't resist nibbling on the house. Suddenly the door creaked open, and out stepped an old woman. "Come in, dear children," she said with a smile. "You must be hungry and tired. Come inside and I'll take care of you." But Hansel and Gretel did not know that the old woman was really a wicked witch. She had built the candy house to lure children inside, where she would capture them. As soon as Hansel and Gretel entered the house, the witch grabbed Hansel and locked him in a cage. "I will fatten you up," she cackled, "and then I will eat you." She made Gretel cook and clean while she waited for Hansel to grow bigger. But clever Gretel came up with a plan. Every day, the witch asked Hansel to stick out his finger so she could check if he was getting fatter. But Hansel tricked her by sticking out a thin bone instead, and the witch, with her poor eyesight, thought he was still too thin to eat. Finally, the witch grew impatient. "Fat or thin, I will eat you tomorrow," she declared. Early the next morning, the witch ordered Gretel to start the fire in the oven. But brave little Gretel thought fast. As the witch bent down to check the fire, Gretel gave her a big push, and the wicked witch fell into the oven. Gretel quickly shut the door, trapping the witch inside forever. With the witch gone, Gretel freed Hansel, and together they searched the house. They found chests filled with jewels and gold. Taking as much as they could carry, they set off to find their way home. After walking for hours, they finally emerged from the forest and saw their cottage in the distance. Their father was overjoyed to see them and told them that their cruel stepmother had left. Hansel and Gretel showed him the treasure they had brought, and from that day on, they all lived happily ever after, never going hungry again. And so, dear children, that is the story of Hansel and Gretel, who used their bravery and cleverness to escape a terrible fate. Now, as you close your eyes and drift off to sleep, remember how strong and smart you are, just like Hansel and Gretel. Have sweet dreams, and may tomorrow be filled with fun, laughter, and adventure. Good night!